Hey everybody, I'm Sin,
And I'm Nick.
and this is This Week in Cars. All right, Nick, it's been a news-filled week. We have a lot of topics to cover this week, or for this episode. Let's get
Yeah.
into it.
Yeah.
Some big things.
Fir-
Go ahead.
First off, Dodge Charger Daytona. They just unveiled their new EV, so we can talk about that. We'll
hmm
talk about the Dodge Hornet,
hmm
the new SUV that Dodge launched. That's going to be kind of a hybrid plug-in option.
hmm
Then we're going to talk about the Acura ZDX that should be making an appearance in 2024.
You're
And then,
laughing. Why are you laughing?
yeah, we'll get to that. And then the Porsche GT3 RS, they just released the new, what'd you say, 991.2?
Yeah, or 992, basically. Yeah,
992.
yeah.
Um, so, yeah,
All right.
those are the topics. Let's get into the Dodge Charger Daytona. So, they just had, if you haven't been paying attention, they just had their, Dodge has like this yearly event they call the Dodge Speed Week. Um, and they have a bunch of cool events kind of surrounding that. And then almost every night last week, they did reveals. So they would reveal a new car every night. One of the first reveals was this new Dodge Charger Daytona EV. So, as you can probably guess, Dodge is going to be going away with all their internal combustion engines. Specifically, first off, the all the Hellcat motors; those will no longer be compliant, unfortunately, for car enthusiasts. So next year will be the last year of all the Hellcat motors, and we can talk about that in a separate topic. But Dodge revealed this new EV that they're going to be producing, so it's going to be taking the place of these Hellcat engined Challengers, Chargers. This one specifically, it's interesting because they're calling it a Dodge Charger, which, if you know, that's their four door currently, but it's their Daytona. If you remember back in the '70s, they had that Daytona Superbird with the giant wing on it,
Yep.
super iconic. It got outlawed in racing because it was winning a bunch of races and mostly because of the downforce and the aerodynamics. It was really revolutionary for the time. So they're kind of bringing that back, the Daytona nameplate, but the full name is the Dodge Charger Daytona SRT Banshee.
Hmm.
Okay. So this thing looks like it's definitely throwing it back even farther, I think. With the current generation of the Chargers and Challengers specifically, they really threw it back to the 60s and 70s design characteristics. I think they still look freaking awesome. They just did the wide body not too long
I
ago.
love the wheels on it.
Yeah. I mean,
Oof.
Dodge kills all the wheels in both the wide body and the original. I would get the original Hellcat. That's how much I
hmm
like it. Um, but anyway, this kind of pays homage to those early Chargers, kind of like the Charger in the Vin Diesel Charger in
hmm
the Fast and the Furious franchise, if you can remember that. So, yeah, this is a two-door Charger EV. They did not announce any um, power levels yet, but they said it should be faster than the current Hellcat. So,
hmm
or at least as powerful as that,
I don't
right?
think it'll be hard for them to hit the performance numbers with an EV, assuming how
No, I don't think so
everybody is
either.
doing that. We're not going to talk about it this week, but you saw the Lucid Sapphire.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So,
Things
anyways,
nutty, 1,200 horsepower, but yeah,
yeah, I
yeah, we're
think
gonna
it
see
looks
some.
cool.
It definitely looks cool. Does it look as cool as a Model S Plaid? I don't think so, but
Oh, I thought we were talking about the Charger, but yeah.
oh yeah. No, I think the styling on the this new Daytona SRT looks great.
hmm
Um, the
Let's
real
talk about
highlight is
the
obviously
let's talk about
that.
the exhaust.
Yeah, that's what I was getting at. So the Banshee is the electric motor, right? So I think the Banshee is gonna be
Nice.
replacing the Hellcat motor, right?
Mhm.
Um, and but in typical Dodge fashion, I watched this presentation by Dodge when they unveiled this,
Mhm.
and you know, he was saying the I guess it was his chief marketing officer, but he
Mhm.
was saying that their team is just as sad to see gasoline powers cars go away as we are, so this
I
is
hope they
their
are. I hope they feel that way.
yeah, and they really do. And so what he was saying is, how can we bring some of those um features back to the electric car that's going to make it a true enthusiast car, right? Like, how can we capture some of the essence of the true V8 muscle car? So this one has a speaker on it, or multiple speakers, that has its own exhaust sound. And we can play a clip right now.
Yeah, I think it
But
sounds incredible.
I do too. I think they really did pretty good with it. I think, honestly, I think it's a sound that would grow on me.
Hmm.
At first I was like, man, I don't know how I think about it, but it definitely sounds
It sounds like an
electric.
electric muscle car,
Yeah,
an
yeah, you're
electric
probably right.
Hemi. Like it doesn't make any sense at all. But that's exactly what it sounds like. They did a really good
Hmm.
job at synthesizing like an electric motor made to sound like a gas motor. It's so bizarre. I wonder if it's going to start a trend.
Hmm.
Like if when the Mustang EV comes out, I wonder if they're going to try to mimic this just because they know
They're gonna
that the
have to.
sound is such. Yeah.
Yeah, they're gonna have to get car enthusiasts to completely convert. And I think I texted you this the other day. I don't remember
Mhm.
what car it was, but there is a company now that is coming out with a manual electric. So it has a manual
Mm.
gearbox, and it's somehow connected to a
With
motor. I
it's
don't know the details. I don't think it was released.
Yeah, I heard something like Toyota patented something like that where it simulates gear shifts.
Mm-hmm.
So you know how like an electric power band, all the power comes in at once. Well,
Mm-hmm.
apparently this one simulates the power band, and when you drop off and re-engage uh, a simulated gear, you get
Mm-hmm.
that simulation of like actually changing gears.
Mm-hmm.
It's completely fake. People are gonna knock on it because it's fake, but I think it's a cool idea.
I honestly think it's going to be something that in 20 years we're going to look back and be like, that's really dumb. But I think in the meantime it's going to distract us and give us enough
Mhm.
of a tactile experience that we can be less sad. That's really it.
We
Just less sad.
we're nostalgic people. I think
100%.
something like that because at this point you see it where everybody's about the experience now versus pure
Mhm.
speed. Just because a plaid basically destroys everything from like a Bugatti
Mhm.
to I mean every gasoline vehicle. So at this point, it's all about the experience. So yeah, I think there's
Mhm.
something there. A lot of people were kind of talking crap on having like a simulated gear transmission on an EV
Mhm.
car, but people always talk stuff on the internet until they actually get to experience it and they go, "Oh wow, yeah, that's cool." So
Mhm.
we'll see. But anyways,
Um
Dodge Charger.
anyway, so another thing, this is going to have their power shot feature. Did you hear about this?
Mm-mm-mm. Go on.
So it's kind of like, what is some of those turbo cars have like the Kia, the N. What's the
Hmm.
Velociter N? They got that power shot where it gives you like 15 seconds of
Oh, okay.
increased turbo boost, right?
But this is electric turbo boost,
This is
right?
electric. They're calling it their power shot. It's activated on the steering wheel, and it
So
gives you
it
some extra power just for passing and things like that.
Reminds me of Formula E.
Yeah.
Yeah, where you get that power boost. It's almost like a video game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's cool. I like it. I
Mm-hmm.
wonder how much battery it drains. I wonder like if you use it and you're like,
Don't
hey,
know. Yeah.
yeah, like you tell your passenger, watch this, boom, and then you lose 10% of your battery just like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, go on.
So another cool feature is just performance based. It's going to be all wheel drive, which Dodge has never done that
Hmm.
in a sports car. They kind of teased it last year because I don't know if you know this, but like the Charger, one of the base models, they have, I think it's like the SXT or something. They do
Hmm.
have an all wheel drive option, and that was one of the things that fans were speculating a while back is maybe they'll put a Hellcat all wheel drive uh, platform together. But
Hmm.
it looks like they're going to be saving that for the electric version. So
That makes sense.
um, I think all in all, it's freaking cool. It's got the electric exhaust. They're trying
Hmm.
to do. They're honestly, I think they're doing their best. Like, I don't think there's much more you can do. You know.
Yeah,
Um,
I wonder. So you know how Dodge is axing the Hemi motor? They're going all electric. Um, the Mustang, they're gonna be releasing the seventh gen. Is it seventh gen Mustang on the 15th or 14th or sometime mid September?
it's got to
But the
be more
what?
gens than that, right? Been a million
I
Mustangs.
gosh,
You
I
might
don't
be
even.
right. You're probably right.
Yeah, but where it is, it's gonna be gas. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, if they're gonna be releasing a next generation Mustang and it's gonna be gas, does that mean they're gonna be the only gasoline ICE internal combustion muscle car?
Yeah, maybe the only one left. Maybe
Yeah,
they're
I
gonna
mean
squeeze.
if you don't count the Corvette, I mean basically like the Camaro.
Well, no, I mean the Charger is going to get the base Charger. I think is going to get not the base, but they're going to have a performance Challenger, I believe, still with that new six-cylinder inline six 3.0. They called I can't remember what the name of it was, but um,
Yeah, you were talking
anyway,
about that motor. You're
yeah,
yeah.
I'm pretty excited for that one because if it could compete with the BMWs, the big six, the big straight six, and those
Mhm.
engines all sound pretty freaking sweet. So,
Mhm.
and if it's anything like a Dodge, uh, they'll make it sound sweet, which would be cool.
Okay. All right. Well, there's some hope out there for the guys that feel like they need a gasoline motor. It's
Mm-hmm.
it's it's such a it's such a weird time because everybody knows that this wave's coming,
Mm-hmm.
and we're clinging on. Like everybody's clinging on to these internal combustion cars as long as they can. So
It makes me depressed thinking that like that's
yeah.
gonna possibly end. Like I'm not ready for it. I don't think it should.
Uh,
I'm not ready to. My next car is not going to be an electric car. I don't want it to be at least, but
yeah. So everybody's calling it. Don't know what's gonna happen. We're gonna
mm-hmm.
see people like at the end of the day, whatever people buy is going to determine
Mm-hmm.
how these brands position themselves during this transition. So if it's gonna be gasoline hybrid, is it gonna be what's that future? I feel like everybody's transitioning to off of internal combustion, but I mean, that's what everybody's saying, right? Especially with
Mm-hmm.
Europe and Japan banning ICE vehicles 2030. So it's kind
Mm-hmm.
of forcing everybody's hand. Um, I don't know. It's just a weird time. I'm super depressed about it.
Mm-hmm.
Everything from the Civic Type R to any Hemi powered vehicle to, I mean, you name it, man. So
Mm-hmm.
it's the end of an era, and I'm sad to see it go. Yeah, I don't know. I'm at a loss right now. So I guess we can move on to the next topic.
Yeah. So that's it for the Dodge Charger Daytona. So next, moving on, we're going to talk about the Dodge Hornet.
Hornet.
So this was kind of in the same week. It
Mm-hmm.
was in the same week as the Charger reveal.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Dodge is now talking about releasing a small compact SUV. They're calling it their Dodge Hornet. Should be around in 2023. Um, so this thing looks exactly like a freaking Alfa Romeo, the Tonale, I think they call it. I
Mm-hmm.
can't pronounce it, but anyway, FCA is also they own Alfa Romeo, so
Mm-hmm.
they also obviously own Dodge. So they're taking, I believe this is the same platform at as the Alfa Romeo Tonale. So they're actually made in the same factory in Italy, but it is a very small SUV, compact SUV, and they're kind of doing what Dodge does, applying that um, the idea that they want to be the sport brand, right? The brand for true enthusiasts. So
Mm-hmm.
um, again, this is a compact SUV. The it's going to come in. So far, we see like I think it's three models. Their base model is the let's see here. But you can get a GT and an RT. And then
Mm-hmm.
in the RT model, they're going to be offering for $10,000 extra a plug-in hybrid model. That will make, I'm going to take a guess, how much horsepower and torque?
Plug-in hybrid.
It's got a plug-in hybrid with a 1.3
Okay.
gas motor, turbocharged.
300.
It is going to make 285 horsepower and
Close enough.
383 foot-pounds of torque.
It's a lot of torque.
That's going to be a quick little SUV. It's going to have all-wheel drive.
Plug-in hybrids to me are kind of that transition type of vehicle. So, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'd get a. I mean, I'd consider a plug-in hybrid. I think that's a good option.
Yeah.
Again, they're going to have the power shot on this one too, so that additional it says 25 horsepower for 15 seconds at a time for, passing or whatever you want to call it. But that gets the 0 to 60 time down to. Do you want to take a guess?
Okay.
Remember, all-wheel drive, 285,
small SUV.
383 horsepower or torque.
What's the weight of this small SUV?
Don't know.
No. Okay, I'm guessing it'll probably be about 4,000 pounds.
Yeah, probably.
It's gonna be in the fives.
5.1.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
That's for That sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah. So this will be a pretty cool, fun option. I'm excited to see this. It also did 0.9 of lateral grip on the G pad.
Okay.
So that's decent for a big SUV, or not big SUV, a small SUV. It's going to come stock with 18-inch wheels.
We're so spoiled. 0.9 on the skid pad. Man, I remember reading magazines
15 years ago.
Yeah, reading magazines and looking at the skid pad numbers and that 0.9 was reserved for sport cars.
Mm-hmm.
Fast handling sport cars. Now a tiny SUV can pull a 0.9. That's insane.
Mm-hmm. So the GT and the RT, you can add 20-inch wheels, adjustable dampers.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the cool things I think, so they're bringing back this name. Dodge loves their names, right?
Yeah,
they call it Dodge.
It's such a good practice. Yeah, such an iconic name.
Yes. So they're calling this the Dodge Hornet GT, but they make a GLH model, which stands for Goes Like Hell. So that, if you remember back to the Dodge Omni GLH, that little sports car, that Dodge made, it was actually designed by Carroll Shelby.
Wow.
But it is called the Goes Like Hell GLH. So that one actually looks pretty cool. When they presented it, it was like a blacked out version, blacked out wheels. And I was actually texting my friend when they were unveiling all the Hornet specifically. And I was like, man, this looks exactly like the Alfa Romeo SUV, right? That was the first thing. Then the
Hmm.
second thing, I'm like, man, this thing sits high. Like there's some serious wheel gap. Then they unveiled the GLH, which
Which fixes
but
all of that.
yeah, it has a lowering kit, which only drops at 1 inch, so it's like it's kind of flirting with it. It definitely looks way better. They didn't say that it's going to have a power increase, but it'll have the dual wheel or the 20-inch wheels and the dual exhaust. So um, we'll put a picture up of the GLH and its specific graphics. But
Yeah, it's pretty
um,
cool.
yeah,
It's a I like the shape. It's such a nice shape. It
yeah. I mean,
was when I
it looks
first saw it, it was kind of
exactly like same exact bylines. That was my only beef. Is like my thing is why didn't they turn the back window down like a Macan? They could have easily made this look like a Macan
like
and had
more
at least
coupish.
some yeah, at least some differentiation to from the Alfa Romeo. Obviously,
Mm.
they're probably in two different um, classes. As far as Alfa Romeo is probably considered a luxury class, but still, I think they could have done some differentiation. Do you think? What do you think? Yes, no.
I agree with you. I do agree with you.
Like the front looks almost identical, and so does the back. The
Hmm.
interior looks identical. You
Hmm.
know.
Hmm.
So to me, it kind of feels like they rushed this.
Hmm.
It does look rushed,
It
given the
looks
fact
like,
there's no differentiation between the two models.
yeah. I mean, but you can tell it does have a family resemblance with the kind of the outgoing Charger. It looks like just like a a, a small mushed up Charger lifted car
It
crossover
it
thing.
definitely has that Dodge front. Kind of has like that
Yeah.
Durango look.
That rear
Um,
quarter though, I totally see what you're saying. It kind of reminds me of like the Mazda MX-3 hatchback,
yep.
where it's like it's so massive. I wonder if that's just a big old blind spot.
Hmm.
Anyways, I get what you're saying. I
But
agree
I
with you.
think the GLH is respectable. It's a good looking little
Hmm.
crossover. Will it sell well? I don't know. I'm afraid this is going to be a flop like the Dart. Dart only sold for like 4 or 5 years,
I
man.
I was thinking Dart in my head,
Yep.
and this kind of feels that way. Even if
Yeah,
it had the performance, it's just, yeah, it's a combination of the marketing and the overall packaging. So,
yeah, and it's not. I mean, I just don't think Dodge does any. They can't do like small cars. They can only just go
mhm,
big badass. Like, I mean, look at the freaking. I mean, the Charger and the Challenger are just boats, Like,
mhm,
and then you got the Durango that's just a monster, and then of course they put the Hellcat motor in it. Then they got the Grand Cherokee. Like, they're all big, burly, muscular cars, and now
mhm,
like I feel like every departure from that is you're getting into dark territory. You know,
mhm.
you're
Yeah,
you're
they
you're
don't.
risking a flop because it just has no soul. It just kind of, and again, it's a copycat.
Mhm.
You know,
Hmm. Yeah, you know who does do it well though? Ford definitely does that kind of like small entry level pretty well. So
they've got quite a few offerings.
they do. They have a lot of offerings. They
Yeah,
probably dominate that market right now, as far as I can tell.
probably in the American market.
Yeah.
Because Chevy doesn't make anything worth a shit
Mm.
in my mind.
Yeah. All right.
Anyway, that's our thoughts on the Dodge Hornet. Next,
Next.
you're going to take the lead on this. The
All right.
Acura ZDX. Do you want me to laugh now?
Yeah, you can laugh now. All right. So the new Acura ZDX, they showed it off at Monterey Pebble Beach. It's basically gonna be Acura's first. It's gonna signal Acura's electric future. So it's like the electric version of the precision design that they unveiled quite a bit ago, and
Mm-hmm.
it's going to arrive in Type S form. So we joke
Ooh.
about it because the ZDX was technically that first um,
Sportback.
crossover sport utilities cross sport activity vehicle, or the coupe sport SUV. Even
Mm-hmm.
though it failed pretty miserably at it, and then the X6 came to play, and X6 showed everybody how they could be done well, and then the following generation of the X6 is crap. In my opinion, the first generation was always the best, but I think it looks nifty.
Dude, this is my biggest beef. These
Go ahead.
freaking concept vehicles never end up looking anything like what they like. What 10% maybe like the body line vaguely, but
Yeah.
everything else is like they put freaking 24-inch wheels, which they never do. It's like
Well,
they have
hey,
all these crazy body lines, that front
in
grill. Could they
in
do that? Probably, but
in defense of Acura, um, this looks like I think they could pull this off. Remember the Type S concept that eventually ended up being the TLX Type S? That was pretty
mhm.
close.
It wasn't far off. Yeah.
It wasn't far off. So it took a lot of inspiration from that Type S, and the Type S came the Acura TLX Type S actually looks pretty good, and you can tell that it looks a lot like the Type S concept, and it does look a lot like the Type S concept. I think they could probably do the same. The proportions of this vehicle look production spec.
Yeah. But
Yeah,
for an electric vehicle, what the?
yeah.
That is a giant hood for
Mhm.
an electric vehicle. What is under
Mm.
there?
Maybe it's just a big trunk, man. Maybe it
That
doubles
would
the
be
trunk
an
capacity.
enormous trunk.
Yeah, I
But
you
okay,
I,
this looks like a vehicle. This looks like one of those vehicles that you can drive it straight into the water. It's a boat.
All right. So this is actually a good topic for us to discuss, and this is why. So because electric vehicles don't really have a motor, does that completely change the proportions of a car? Are we going to see a lot of cars just not have the classic sport coupe profile where it's got the long hood where you would assume a big powerful engine would be? Like that, to me, those are like the classic sporty proportions. Or is everything going to turn into like you know a Kia's Ionic or Hyundai Ionic 6 or whatever,
Yeah, I
EV6 or
mean, so
whatever?
the Rivian and the F-150 Lightning kind of answer the question a little bit, right? Like the
Mm-hmm.
F-150 Lightning has a pretty big, obviously the whole hood is not devoted to
Mm-hmm.
the frunk, but
Yeah.
a good portion of it is probably what 60%, and then behind that it's probably all the electronics,
Mm-hmm.
uh, batteries, motors. I don't know. I haven't studied the design of it. Same with the
Yeah.
Rivian, though. I think about 60%, maybe a little bit more on the Rivian. Um, but yeah, I just think it's interesting. Like I'm
Yeah.
sure they're
So
not wasting space in their design.
I don't think that all the new BMWs are wasting space because they took a car platform and they converted it to an EV, so it doesn't even really have a frunk, which is completely
Mm-hmm.
bizarre.
I don't know
But
what I mean. What do they put? It's just empty space in there.
it's nothing. Like you can't do anything with it. Like it's just I don't know what they put in there. There's electronics, but they could probably made it a frunk. Like the if you look at like the BMW 4 Series, the
Dude, are
EV.
you looking at this picture? This blue
Yeah,
ZDX.
yeah.
That thing looks like it could literally drive into the water, like it's a freaking bow rider boat. Like,
I will reserve judgment until it makes it to production because I think it
yeah,
could be
yeah, yeah.
cool. I think it could be cool. I
No,
like
I mean,
some things
in
about
all
it.
honesty, I think it looks cool. I just think it's funny because it has a very boat-like shape right now. But
That and well, again, we're gonna see how a lot of these companies, if they're gonna how they're gonna design it, because again, these cars,
hmm
these EVs, you don't have to design them like traditional cars. So are they gonna go completely far out, or are they gonna give it classic car proportions? So
hmm
we're gonna see. So let's
Let's move
let's
on to the
last topic.
Porsche 911 GT3.
Okay, so this is again saying farewell. It'll probably be Porsche's. Hopefully not
I don't know.
Porsche's
I think it's still got
last.
a few more years.
You think so? Well, I know it's got a few more years, but will this be the last internal combustion GT3 RS?
Maybe the last generation,
Yeah.
but I doubt it. I mean, dude, it's a 6-cylinder. They can probably squeeze some more juice out of it.
Or will they make it a hybrid, like a
That would be probably the most logical thing.
yeah. So,
Yeah.
but the
So
GT3 RS has always been the pinnacle as far as naturally aspirated,
mhm.
best handling, most track focused Porsche 911 that they've ever made, and this is, I mean, they threw, and this is an engineering marvel. They threw everything at this, like
Yeah, I would say that the biggest, pretty much the only thing you got to really focus on is aero. Like that's all. Like
mm,
it's so much design goes
mhm,
towards aero package because
mhm,
they still have the same body type, the same look, the same. It's always going to be the same proportions. It's just
mhm,
one of the most beautiful cars ever made.
mhm,
But the aero package on this is insanity. It's like they took the 99. What was it? 991?
mhm.
Is that the last model? 991?
Yeah, gosh.
I can never remember these, but anyway, it's like they took the previous generation and
Yeah, it's a
just
991's the previous generation. Yeah, so
put a
this is a
ton of
992.
aero on
This
it.
one, but yes.
Which I always think the RSs look cool. I like the wing. Now they have
Mm,
that reverse mount wing.
the what do they call that? The swan neck. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Um,
Which was
but
always like a boy racer type modification, but I think it's cool that Porsche did it because it kind of it was definitely a time attack thing that the boy
100%.
racers stuck on their cars and then Porsche does it and now it's like acceptable
And man,
on the
I
street.
mean, this thing just looks. The more you look at it, it just looks freaking nuts.
It's gnarly, man. The active arrow is the biggest thing. I think they said that it's got 2 times the downforce
Yep.
of the previous generation 991. So it's pretty wild. Not only that, they because it's active arrow, if it needs to accelerate and needs to go fast, it can control how much downforce it has. So
Mm-hmm.
even though it only has 9 more horsepower and like I think 10 more pound-feet of torque, I don't know the exact specs versus the 991. It
And
it
it's
blasts through the
10.
quarter mile in almost a second more. It's a 10-second car, and
That's insane for freaking naturally aspirated. That is
and it yeah, and it only
absurd.
weighs like 10 pounds more than the 991. So they crammed all
Mm-hmm.
of that in. It only weighs 10 pounds more, and it accelerates quite a bit faster. In fact, they quote like a 0 to 60 of 3.2, but everybody's saying it'll be a 2 point something. It'll be a high 2, 0 to 60 in a 10-second quarter mile.
Mm-hmm.
Probably mid to high tens, which is insane. It's only got 509 horsepower, 500, I don't know, something like that.
Which is not much for today's standards.
It's not. It's basically the same motor, and they just did a bunch of aero on it, and
Mm-hmm.
every little detail from, um, you could tell they spent a ton of time in just doing what do you call that wind tunnel testing,
Of
just
course,
because
yeah.
it's absolutely perfection when it comes to how they do that, and just it seems like they borrowed so much racing technology to integrate into this car to make it what it is, which is the pinnacle ultimate 911 track car. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm excited. It's sad. Oh, here's the other thing that we talked about. Then the GT3s and the GT3 RSs are not limited. There's a number. It is numbered, but they don't limit the production. They make as much as they can make it. So it's one of the things that They did limit, I think, the GT2 RS, the previous generation 991 GT2 RS, to, I think, 500. But this and the GT3, they're not limited. So it makes you wonder, right now the markups on the GT3s are about 100 grand. I wonder what the markups for this GT3 RS is going to be. It's probably going to be insane.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah.
Yeah. Have you seen any of the Active Aero in action? I don't even know if they put out a video about it.
They do have videos. Yeah, they got videos.
They do?
And
Okay.
it's Aero on the bottom of the car.
Yeah.
It's
front and rear.
Yeah, and the wing, and it's just everything. They like it's an impressive engineering feat.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
and it
my
revs
buddy
to 9,000 RPMs.
Yeah,
that's
my buddy that sold his GT3 RS, he was building it on because you could go and build it right now, and you could like see it, what it looks like, rendered in like a space. But he was building it, and he was showing me, and I was like, because he didn't like the GT3, so it makes me wonder if he's gonna try to snag one, which it's gonna be hard. When he bought that GT3 RS, he actually bought it for like 20-30 grand under MSRP, and then
really,
yeah, and
how
then
did you get that deal?
Well, at the time, people weren't crazy about GT3 cars and GT3 RS cars like they are now. Now it's like the must-have car. But
I mean, the old version is still freaking beautiful. It's just awesome looking.
Yeah, back when he got it in 2019, it was one of those cars that just sat in the lot. And his car was the actual lava orange with the white Visoc kit. That it was a press car, and it was like one of 19 with that kit. So it was super rare, but just one of those things.
So he probably made some jack on it.
Oh yeah, he flipped it and probably made like 100 grand off of the flip, and he put like 20,000 miles on it. But I mean, now look at it, like it's probably gonna keep on going up in value. And
probably,
now, so in 2019, nobody got the Visoc kit. Visoc, I think that's how you pronounce it. Nobody got
right. Yep.
So, you get the, I don't even know how much the kit is for this car, but it before it was like $19,000-$20,000 kit, and that didn't include the mag wheels. So now it's probably going to be quite a bit more, and it's only going to save like 50 pounds. But that's like you're getting the ultimate car. You want to get the ultimate of the ultimate car. You have to get that kit, and even let's say the kit's like 50 grand, it will increase the value of the car 100 grand because of how rare it is. Because you're never going to be able to get that
I have the
kit.
numbers here. Its base price is $225.
Okay.
Wysock package adds $33,000, $33,500.
Yeah.
So for a grand total what is that? Over 250, 265.
Yeah, and so GT3s right now already go for 300 grand, 100K markup. This thing's gonna go for 350 to 400, easy. And the thing that's crazy is that it's not even limited.
Will dealers mark them up?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Dealers marking up everything right now. So, like the GT3 is marked up 100 grand. So this is gonna be marked up at least 100. Let's wrap it up. All right, so that about does it. Let us know what your thoughts are. What do you think about the new Dodge Charger? What do you think about the Hornet? What do you think about the ZDX? There's so many things to talk about. This will be the first, hopefully, the first episode that will be part of the This Week in Cars podcast, which I hope to get up on Spotify and all that stuff. We kind of rushed this one, trying to get it together just to be disciplined to get it out, but I gotta be better about that. We've both been pretty busy, but this hopefully will make it onto the podcast. So, yeah, that's it. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you in the next episode.